Dear students, in this video I solve problem number 1 on the design of helical gears. So let's look at the problem statement. Okay, so problem number 1 under design of helical gears is design a pair of helical gears to transmit 15 kilowatt power at 3200 rpm with speed ratio of 4:1. Pinion is made of cast steel, 0.4% carbon untreated. Gear is made of high grade cast iron. The helix angle is limited to 26 degrees and not less than 20 teeth are to be used in either gears, pinion and gear. Suggest suitable surface hardness for the gear pair. So we need to design a pair of helical gears, and the data that we have is power is to be transmitted is 15 kilowatt. The speed of the pinion gear is 3200 rpm, and speed ratio or the gear ratio is 4:1. Therefore I will be equal to 4. Helix angle is given as 26 degrees, and number of teeth they said should not be less than 20. Therefore, for the pinion, which will usually be the smaller gear, we will assume the number of teeth for pinion ZP as 20. Now this is an assumption that we make. Alright, so let's go ahead and solve the problem. Okay, so the solution problem for helical gear is very similar to that of spur gears. Okay, but we make an assumption of formative number of teeth. You would have seen in the previous PPT, the introduction PPT to helical gears that I had uploaded. There is this concept of formative number of teeth or virtual number of teeth, which is an assumption that we make. It is an equivalent number of spur gears that can be made in the cylinder of a helical gear, in the pit cylinder of a helical gear. Okay, therefore formulas should take into account the formative number of teeth. Okay, so I mean you will understand this further as we go through the solution process. Alright, so let's begin with step number 1, that is a gear ratio, which we already know is given in the problem statement as 4. Now since we know the speed of the pinion, you can go ahead and calculate the speed of the gear, and you obtain it as 800 rpm. And also, since we know the gear ratio and we have assumed the number of teeth in the pinion as 20, we can solve for the number of teeth in the gear, and we get it as like 80. Okay, now this is the actual number of gears in the helical gear, pinion and the gear, but for our design purpose, as I said before, we need to know the virtual number of teeth or the formative number of teeth. Okay, so this we had derived in the previous PPT. In our handbook, the same formula is available as 12.22a, page number 211. ZE, which is equivalent or virtual or formative number of teeth, is equal to Z, the actual number of teeth, divided by cos cube of helix angle beta. Okay, now we will go ahead and calculate the equivalent number of teeth for both pinion and gear, and we get the values as 27.55 and 110.18. Alright, now we will make use of these virtual number of teeth to obtain the Lewis form factor. Alright, so the Lewis form factor, assuming that the gear and pinion is 20 degree full depth, the standard tooth profile is 20 degree full depth, we use the standard equation for Lewis form factor, 12.15d. Now instead of number of teeth, we make use of equivalent number of teeth which we have obtained here. Okay, that is the change. Therefore, we get the form factor for pinion and gear as 0.121 and 0.146. Alright, now that we know the Lewis form factor, we can go ahead and decide which is the weaker member among the pinion and the gear. As usual, from table 12 but you need to know the allowable static stress, isn't it? Now, in the problem statement, it is mentioned that pinion is made up of cast steel, 0.4% carbon, untreated. Alright, now from table 12.22, you see that for this material, the allowable static stress value is 70 megapascal. Similarly, for gear, it is 30 megapascal. Alright, I grade cast iron. Therefore, you know form factor and you know the allowable static stress. We can obtain the table and obtain the product of sigma d into y. Now you see that the value is lower for gear. That means that gear is the weaker member. Therefore, all subsequent design calculations will be made for gear. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide, where we will have to start working on identifying the module. As usual, to determine module, you need to first of all identify what is the tangential tooth load using both power equation as well as Lewis equation, and then solve for module using the trial and error method. Okay, we will see that in the next slides. Okay, so let's calculate the tangential tooth load. Initially, by making use of the power equation given in 12.78, the normal power equation, where power P is equal to tangential tooth load into velocity, which will be the work done per second, will give you a power. Velocity we know is pi dn by 60,000. D we know pitch circle diameter is module times the number of teeth. However, since it is an helical gear, instead of module we need normal module. Therefore, M will be substituted by Mn by cos beta. M will be substituted by Mn by cos beta, which will give you velocity of 3.728 times normal module. For service factor CS, as usual, from table, we assume say medium shock and 8 to 10 hours service. It's an assumption. Any of the options that you have in the table you can pick. Therefore, from handbook, for medium shocks and 8 to 10 hours service, we get service factor as 1.5. Substitute everything back into the power equation and you get the tangential tooth load of the gear as 6035.41 divided by Mn. We will term it as equation 1. Okay. Now, we also obtain tangential tooth load from Lewis equation. Lewis equation for tooth load for helical gear is obtained in 12.24a, page number 214. And we get it in this particular form here. Now, the things to be noted here is the form factor is capital Y, which we know is pi times the Lewis form factor. Okay. B is face width. Face width from equation 12.23f for helical gears. We have face width between 12.5 normal module to 20 normal module. We normally assume it to be 15 normal module, which is in between this. And from table 2.21, to obtain the wear and lubrication factor, CW. CW is wear and lubrication factor, which similar to CV and CS is another service factor, service refining factor, which we say from table 12.21, if you assume the lubrication to be scant but regular frequent inspection, from the table we will get the lubrication factor as 1.25, and capital Y we know is form factor, which is equal to pi into Lewis form factor. Pi, and since we are designing for gear, it is pi into form factor of Lewis form factor of gear, which turns out to be 0.4587. Substitute everything into the tangential tooth load formula and you will get the equation as 165.132 CV Mn square. Now, equation 1 and 2 are both for tangential tooth load. We can uh, equate both, and we get the product of CVMN cube as 36.55. Therefore, using a trial and error method, we need to solve for normal module such that for the assumed value of normal module, CVMN cube should be greater than 36.55. Let us go through the trials in the next slide. Okay, so to determine module, trial 1, we will start with normal module equal to 4. Solve it for velocity, we will get it as 14.912. Now, a similar Barth equation for helical gears is also available in your handbook for a velocity factor, and for a velocity up to 20 meters per second in your handbook, you see that velocity factor is given by 15.25 divided by 15.25 plus velocity. Substitute for velocity and you will get CV as 0.506. Obtain the product of CV mn cube by assuming mn equal to 4. You will get 32.36, which if you will check with equation 2 is smaller than the desired 36.55 value. Therefore, we cannot take mn equal to 4. Sorry, this has to be 4 here. Okay, please make that. Please note that change. Okay, so let's move on to trial 2, where we take mn equal to 5, increment by 1. We follow the same steps, and we see that we obtain CVMN cube as 56.25, which is greater than 36.55. Therefore, we take module as 5 mm. Alright, so by trial and error approach, we have narrowed down onto the normal module, which is equal to 5 mm. Alright, so now we need to check for the stresses. We need to check if the module is proper or not. Again, similar to spur gas, we will calculate allowable stress. Allowable stress we know is static stress multiplied by velocity factor, which we get it as 13.47 Newton per millimeter square. Induced stress we know is the stress value from Lewis equation, where we take tangential tooth load divided by B form factor into pitch, the circular pitch value. Substitute and you obtain the induced stress as 7.018 megapascal. Normal module is 5. 7.018 megapascal. Now, if you will check it with the allowable stress value of 13.17, we can say that induced stress is smaller than the allowable stress. Therefore, the design is safe. Okay, this is for induced stress. Now we will go ahead and check for beam strength as well in the next slide. Okay, so let's check for the beam strength. Beam strength, we know that we will have to begin by calculating the effective force, that is dividing the tangential tooth load of the gear by the velocity factor, and we get it as 2688.38 Newton. Okay, this is effective force. Beam strength is, if you go through the theory of helical gear, you will get the beam strength value, beam strength formula as sigma d by mn by cw. Okay, now this is see, in our handbook we don't see this equation in its form. In this form we do not have the beam strength formula. There will be a CV here extra, right? Therefore, what I suggest is take Lewis equation 12.24a without the velocity factor. Okay? Therefore, this is the beam strength formula. Substitute for all the factors and you will get beam strength as 4128.05 in Newton. Therefore, if you will calculate the factor of safety as the maximum bending load which the gear tooth can take without bending failure, divided by the induced effective force, and you will get it as 1.54. Since it is greater than 1, we say that the design is safe. Alright, so that was about beam strength. Next, we move on to dynamic load. Dynamic load for helical gear is given in equation 12.26a, and this is the formula for helical gear. Now you know all the factors but for the dynamic factor C, so you can substitute everything, but you need to obtain the dynamic factor C uh, from table 12.13. Suppose you assume class 2 accurate and carefully cut gear, and for the obtained normal module of 5 mm, we will get gear error value of 0.277. Okay, now from table 12.13 you say that this error of we see that error E equal to 0.277. From table 12.13, error lies between 0.02 and 0.03. Interpolating for 0.0277, we get dynamic factor as 217.82. Alright, so substituting everything back into the dynamic load equation, dynamic load turns out to be 11,080.796 Newton. Alright, so you have a dynamic load value which is greater than the tangential tooth load, which gives an indication of how safe the gear tooth is. Okay, so now we go ahead and check for the wear load after this in the next slide. So the last step in the problem is to identify the wear load and then decide the surface hardness of the gear and the pinion. So wear load, we know for helical gears it is given in equation number 12.26c. I'm not added it here, so please note down the equation number in our data handbook. It is 12.26c. And for the design to be safe, we know that the wear load should be smaller than the dynamic load which we have obtained in the previous slide. So say by equating wear load and dynamic load and substituting it in the formula for wear load, we can solve for the parameter K, and then for K we can select a suitable Brinell hardness number from the handbook. Now in this equation, D1 is the pitch circle diameter of the pinion, and it is given in equation 12.19e. Solve for it and you will get it in get it as 111.26 mm. The unit is missing. It is 111.26 millimeters. And similarly we will solve for the ratio factor. Substitute the number of teeth and you will get Q as 1.6. Substitute everything back into the wear equation, equate it with the dynamic load, and you will get K as 0.6704. Now you see that in table 12.16, for K equal to 0.6704, and for steel and cast iron, the pinion being made of steel and gear being made of cast iron, for this particular combination, you will see that the closest value in the handbook is 0.814. And for K equal to 0.814, we see that the Brinell hardness number for pinion turns out to be 200, and Brinell hardness number for gear turns out to be 180. So that's how we solve problems on helical gears. I will be uploading more solved problems today and tomorrow. So